Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to session 3 of the XiaoHongShu Marketing Bootcamp. I am so excited to welcome you to this session. We are going to be learning all about creating a powerful posting strategy that's going to draw in your target students and really help convert those potential students into actual paying students, which is of course the goal of our marketing strategy. So before we get started, I've just done a quick countdown timer here until we get started with the main content of today's webinar. If you are watching the replay, feel free to just skip ahead about 4 minutes or so in to get to the point where we actually start with the main content. For anyone who's joining us live, welcome to the live stream. I'm so excited to have you join us. I see some people tuning in already, which is great. Drop a message in the chat just to let me know that the text is working okay. That's let me know you're here and introduce yourself while you're at it as well. Let's just pop up a little message here. Yes, please feel free to introduce yourself in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from and what you're excited to learn today. And again, if you're watching the replay, feel free to skip ahead, don't worry. Who we've got here? Okay, we've got Nikki tuning in. Hi, Nikki, great to see you again. Fantastic. And Angie, lots of familiar faces I can see here, which is great. Always good to see people joining us again after the first few bootcamp sessions as well. So nice to see you guys. ESL Simply Speaking, good to see you too. Feel free to let me know your name, by the way. If you're using like a business branded kind of a YouTube account, feel free to just let me know what your name is so I can speak to you a bit more directly. It's always nice and friendly. Got Howie joining us. Hi there, Howie. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to just let us know where you're tuning in from, by the way. It's always good to get an idea of where everyone is around the world. I know we've had a few teachers from all the way from America through to the Philippines tuning in from the last couple of sessions. So literally the whole world is joining us, which is always great to see. Oh, fantastic. Susan, thank you for the name. Really good to know. I'll try and remember. ESL Simply Speaking is Susan. Thank you for tuning in today. Great to see you. And Bella, nice to see you again. Thank you, Bella. And also Stephanie, lots of familiar faces, which is always great. Pierre tuning in from a windy Cape Town. That's fantastic. I hope you enjoy today's session, Pierre. And hello again to Melody and Bob. Awesome. Stephanie's just saying, yeah, Nevada. I think it's called Nevada, right? I'm British in case you can't tell from the accent. So not too familiar with American geography. But okay, fantastic. Stephanie joining us from the US. Toyin from Nigeria. Awesome. That's great to see. People from all around the world tuning in. Howie from Wales, living in Mexico. Ah, yes, I do remember, I think from a previous live or maybe in the Facebook group, I think you mentioned there. So that is great to see you. Thank you. And Kristen as well. Nikki from the UK, a fellow British teacher. That's great to see. Fantastic. Thank you for joining us again. Belly, Wisconsin. I'll get there with the pronunciation of things. Thank you. That's helpful. Wisconsin from in the US. So that's Melody. Great to see you. And Saida again. Nice to see you as well. Hello. Hola. Hola. I don't know any Spanish, by the way. So apologies if anyone here is laughing at my Spanish pronunciation. We'll go with hello. Thank you, Saida. Great to see you again. And Nat as well. Great, loads of familiar faces. Sorry, I'm just rambling a bit while we get started, just giving time for all our emails to come through, email reminders for anyone joining the live. So we'll be getting properly started in about a minute. So if you just joined in and you want to very quickly grab a cup of tea and get settled, this is your time to do it before we properly get started. Judy from the Philippines. Fantastic. Great to see you. Not too far from me. I'm in Japan, if you can tell from the background. Originally from the UK, but currently in Japan. So it's always nice to see fellow teachers tuning in from around Asia. Nigel, great to see you again. Sunny England. I can't believe it. You must be lying. No way is the UK still been sunny a whole week. Crazy. It's typical though, isn't it? When I'm not in the UK, beautiful weather and sunshine. I can guarantee when I go back this summer, it's going to chuck it down with rain all summer. Okay, well, it's great to see you, Nigel. And Lisa as well. Awesome, great to see you again. Okay, well, I think, oh, I've seen another one here. Germany. Fantastic. Great to see. Okay, that's enough of me rambling. It's nice to see everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really excited to see lots of familiar faces and a few new ones as well. Thank you, Gillian, just tuning in right now. So that's great to see. We're going to get started relatively quickly because there's loads to do today. So I'm going to start right now with our main content. So yes, welcome to session 3 of the XiaoHongShu Marketing Bootcamp. Our topic today is posting strategy. So how you can create a powerful posting strategy that draws in your target students, like specific to your niche, you're going to be willing to pay for classes and then convert them into paying students. Is of course our key goal here as online teachers. So that is for today. I know lots of people are excited for this session because even if you've been using XiaoHongShu for a while, sometimes it's like difficult to actually get momentum going. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Just a quick intro to me for any newbies here. My name's Katie. You might have seen me around in various Facebook groups. Most people know me as the director of Abridge Academy, which sells courses and curriculum and coaching and all kinds of things for online ESL teachers in particular. So I've been an online teacher since 2013. I'm a qualified classroom teacher from the UK. I've also lived, studied and taught in China before, and I did a micro MBA at Shanghai Jiao University a couple of years ago. So that's given me quite a good insight into the Chinese market and a like understanding of marketing and advertising and sales within China, what Chinese customers are expecting, that kind of thing. And also a couple of years ago, I co-founded a Chinese online ESL startup program. That was in 2020. I had a lot of success with that. So again, taught me a lot of insights into how to run a successful tutoring program with Chinese customers. And right now I'm in Japan. I'm a classroom ESL teacher, and I also teach online. I sell curriculum, I sell courses through Abridge Academy, and all these other things. I don't know how to cram it all in. I like to keep busy. So yeah, that's a very quick intro to me, and it's great to see all of you guys here today. So moving swiftly on, I feel like most people here, if you've seen the first couple of boot camps, have seen my intro already. So this is session number 3. So session number 3 on our schedule, we're going to learn about creating a powerful posting strategy. Sessions 1 and 2 looked at like what is XiaoHongShu, why is it an amazing platform for online teachers to advertise, and how to optimize your profile so you're set up for success. If you missed those, don't worry. After today's session, feel free to check out the link below where you can register for the online platform, or online course platform. It's free and you'll get access to the replays. So you can watch the replays later if you missed those. But if you didn't and you don't have a chance to watch them later, don't worry, you can join in today's session straight away. It's totally fine. You don't need the previous knowledge from these ones to join in today's session. And later on, the rest of the week, we're going to learn about how to actually post. Like we're going to work through posting together and mastering the algorithm to make sure your posts get like the best reach and the best engagement they can. So lots coming up in the next few days. So hopefully give you a bit of an overview of what to expect. So yeah, let me know in the comments, by the way, how things are going so far with the bootcamp. We're now at the halfway point, which is amazing. So congratulations, everyone, for making it so far. It's been really great having some fantastic engagements throughout the lives and also in our Facebook group, lots of people posting their daily homework tasks. It's great to see the progress there. So let me know in the comments how everything's been going so far and what you're excited to learn as well. A few more people tuning in. Great to see you again, Twin from Bangladesh. Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, let me just make sure this is all looking nice on the screen. Otherwise my face is sort of a bit mushed in the corner. Apologies for that. It's always difficult to figure out how to make things look good on the live stream. There we go. Great. Also, I do apologize if the audio is not great today. I still haven't been able to locate my normal microphone. So we're back to the old headphones. So I do apologize. I was listening to the replay of one of the earlier sessions and there's a bit of feedback on the microphone. So I do apologize for that. Hopefully you can follow along and I'll try and make more of an effort to speak slowly and clearly to make sure things come through. Okay, great. So great to see everyone joining us today. I'm going to move swiftly on. That was our quick intro. Hopefully that gives you an idea of where this all fits in. Just a final reminder, I know I've said this in each of the previous ones as well, but if you haven't already or if you're just joining us today, please do register at the link below to get access to the full bootcamp. It's free. You don't have to pay anything, totally free. There's no pay for this extra lesson bit or anything like that. And if you register, you get access to all 5 bootcamp, there we go, bootcamp sessions, as well as the replays when those get available, obviously after the live, and then email reminders of when we're going live. If, by the way, you're watching this way in the future, you can still register and get access to the replays. So this is all still available, assuming the video is still available. If this video is still available and you're watching it, this should all still be available as well. You also get a free implementation workbook, which I've seen some really fantastic results, people putting into action the stuff they're learning in the bootcamp so far, filling out that workbook and posting in our Facebook group. It seems to be really helping people actually implement the things that we're learning and help you process it a lot more. Because let's be honest, it's very tempting with these kind of live streams to tune in a bit and then sort of get distracted doing something else, miss the main content, and then forget to do anything with it. So the idea of the implementation workbook actually puts into action the key things you're learning from each session. You also get a free social media platforms guide, and at the end, you'll get a certificate of completion to sort of celebrate and share your achievements. And of course, you can win great bonuses as well, including one-on-one coaching sessions and free courses. So if you engage well and you do your homework throughout the bootcamp, you could be in a chance of winning some great prizes. So yeah, little quick reminder there to register at the link below for free to get all of this amazing stuff. I think I say this every time, so apologies for the repeat, but it's always good to have a reminder. Okay. Oh, some great comments in the chat. Thank you, everyone. Kristin's saying, I'm loving the course. That's fantastic to hear. Thank you, Kristin. Very excited to restart posting on XiaoHongShu, which I haven't felt in a long time. I know the feeling. Sometimes when it comes to social media marketing, particularly if you're not getting great engagement or like results from things you're posting, it's very easy to lose motivation. So yes, I'm excited as well for you to get restarted posting on XiaoHongShu, and today's session should be really helpful for that. Twin is asking about verifying my number. I think we were chatting in the Facebook group about this, and I'll try and get back to you later on it. Basically, to make any edits to your profile, which was our last bootcamp session, you have to have linked your phone number to XiaoHongShu. Most people did that when they signed up, like you signed up with a phone number. I think if you signed up with your WeChat account, you have to separately link your phone number, and I believe from the chat in the Facebook group, you're having a few issues with that. Let's continue that chat in the Facebook group though, and hopefully we'll get that sorted for you later. Pierre saying, the information you give us is gold dust. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pierre. I really appreciate that feedback. Great to hear. And Nikki as well. I'm learning more with each session. Although I started on XiaoHongShu in March, I feel like I've been floundering somewhat. It can be really difficult when you're starting a new platform that you're not familiar with. So I'm so glad to hear that this bootcamp is helping you, Nikki. Fantastic. Okay. Cool, let's jump in with today's topic then. We're only, 10 minutes of intro in. I always do this. I have a tendency to ramble. Today's topic is posting strategy, creating a powerful posting strategy to draw in your target students. So, quick question for you. What do you think is the purpose of your posts? Why are we posting on XiaoHongShu or any social media platform? Really, this applies to most platforms. What is the actual purpose of your posts? Big question, bit of a thing. By the way, there is a bit of a pause between like me saying something, then the live stream has a I think 20-second delay for when it actually goes live, and then people sending a message and it appearing. So I apologize if I sometimes had to wait for some of the comments to pop up or reply a little late. But yes, let me know in the chat what you think is the main purpose of your post. Why are we posting on XiaoHongShu or generally on social media about our business? A quick in the chat, check there's no other questions as well that have come up. Okay, Melody's saying engagement. Yeah, engagement is really important. We want people to like and to share and to comment on our posts. That kind of engagement is definitely important. Is it the ultimate goal of posting though? And actually, this is something that sometimes people get distracted focusing too much on engagement and not on the stats that actually matter. But that is definitely a very good starting point. Excellent. Nikki says to engage with our niche, definitely. It's about networking, building relationships, getting to know your audience, building an audience in the first place to get to know and engaging with them. Bob, similar kind of comment here, attract the attention of potential students. Absolutely. We're trying to sell here eventually. So we need to attract the right audience. And again, Howie's saying the same, to attract the right people. Okay, Virginia's saying the purpose is to engage with potential customers. I'm liking the vibes you're getting here. So it's the idea of that community, that engagement, and there's that network around your business, which I think is definitely very important. Kristen, to engage and educate and gain followers. And again, educating here is really important. We are teachers, right? So when we are posting on social media, we want to get across that we're teaching you something new, we're adding value, we're educating people. So that is definitely a key goal of our posts. Bella's saying to attract attention. Yeah, the right kind of attention though, not to get the right kind of audience. And again, Nigel saying similar things there. Okay, awesome. Yeah, Virginia's clarifying, ultimate purpose is to get students. Absolutely, and don't lose track of that goal. Sometimes we'll get posting, particularly if you find a few posts go kind of viral, get really popular, easy to get distracted with things like that. But they might not be bringing in the right students. They might be, in which case, great, go for it. But if they're not, then need to think of a strategy again. Okay, let me have a look at some of the key things I put down here. So most of these we kind of covered already, right? So really important to attract your target audience, the right audience, potential customers. Also to establish your expertise. You want to demonstrate you're an expert in the stuff that you teach. And the best way to do that is to teach something to your audience in the first place. Show them you're an expert in what you do. And of course, building a relationship. We mentioned previously that when it comes to your overall marketing funnel, people are not ready to buy the first time that they see you. So if there's a random post that appears sort of in their recommended post feed and they've never heard of you before, they're not yet ready to make that purchase decision. It takes, on average, about 7 touch points before they make that purchase decision and actually buy something. And in that meantime, those 7 points is your opportunity to establish your expertise, but also to build a relationship. People buy from teachers that they trust and that they like and that they can relate to. So that is also a really important part of what we're posting. And I've put here, not to sell yet. We have mentioned the importance of attracting the right people who are going to buy eventually, but our posts themselves are not yet making the sale. Sales is done via messages at a later point in the marketing funnel. We're still at the early stages of the marketing funnel of attracting the right audience and getting them interested in your classes. We're not selling yet. Sometimes people get mixed up between marketing and sales. And there's a reason big companies have different departments. They talk together, obviously, but they have different departments of people who specialize in different areas because they are different. So we're not trying to sell yet. That is always important to remember. And I would say that's almost the number one mistake I see teachers making in their posts, is that they start trying to sell to a cold audience. We need to warm them up first. Okay, enough of my rambling. So I've got a list here of some of the kind of content you can post on XiaoHongShu. And while we're having a look at some of these examples, it would be really great if you guys just message in the chat and let me know what kind of content have you been posting so far and how is it going? Like, has anything done particularly well? What posts have you posted that have been what posts have you posted that have been really popular? Let me know how that's going. It's always good to get some feedback and insights from other people as well. But yeah, I like to categorize posts into these 4 categories. And I've just realized a giant heart is covering the last one. I apologize. So I put them into 4 categories: value posts, inspiration posts, personal posts, and promotional posts. And that's how I like to categorize the content that I'm posting. And it's good to bear this in mind when you make a post and have a rough count of how many posts you're making in different categories and when you're posting it, that kind of thing. But yeah, we can have a quick look at some of these. I'm going to go into a bit more detail as well in a moment. But I like to put them into these categories. Value posts are essentially adding value to your audience. We talked about educating them, about teaching them something new, about sharing resources and materials and things they might be looking for. So that would be an example of a value post. Inspiration posts, again, does what it says on the tin. It inspires them to want to pursue their longer term goal. I think in session 1, we talked a bit about your target market and what their ultimate goal is, and thinking about why they're learning English. Well, that inspiration post is going to inspire them to keep pursuing that goal. And part of that process, at some point, they might have to purchase your classes. So you're starting to warm them up to that idea. Then we've got personal posts. Sorry, it's slightly covered my face. But personal posts are about you and about your life. It's about building relationships. So, for example, this post here, it was a video of me talking about moving to Japan. It was a bit of a life update kind of video. And actually got lots of engagement, and people commented, people asked me about teaching, people inquired about classes, which was a little unexpected, actually. But it gives an opportunity for people to actually get to know you as a person. And then finally, we have promotional posts. And those are, again, promoting things. Don't post too many of these. I'm going to say this right now in case anyone tunes out of the live halfway through. I'm going to tell you right now because it's really important to know. Don't post loads of promotional stuff. Partly because it doesn't get great engagement and it's not going to do well in the algorithms, things like that. Also because on XiaoHongShu, or their terms and conditions, they don't allow direct advertising commercial content on a personal profile. So this example is a bit hard to see. Maybe I can make it bigger. Yes, make it a bit bigger. This example here was like a review of a class. that's kind of okay because it's not technically directly selling. So I managed to get away with it somehow, but I wouldn't post that content now. I posted this quite a long time ago. So I'll be careful about making promotional posts. Just going to tell you right now up front, in case anyone tunes out the live halfway through and misses that information. It's important. Okay, let's have a look at what people have popped in the chat. What kind of things are you guys posting about? Okay, we've got hobbies. Fantastic. Yeah, that's something you can mention that kind of comes in personal post kind of content, or it could be a value post if you're talking about how to talk about hobbies in English, and that links to your target audience. Bob saying, just started posting helpful hints. No sales pitch yet, with very little traction. Well, I hope this session will be helpful for you because you will learn a lot more about what content to post. So thank you for that feedback. Excellent. How are you saying? I make doodly videos explaining grammar points. Awesome. That is a great example of value posts, because a value post teaching your audience something new, in this case about grammar. Fantastic. Melody saying something similar, but for your audience, it's focusing on pronunciation lessons and clips of teaching kids. So I would say pronunciation lessons, that is a value post, right? You're teaching your audience about how to pronounce something correctly. That's valuable and useful. Clips of teaching kids, I would categorize as promotional. Be a bit careful how often you post that, or like how you phrase it. If you do it as a buy now, here's a clip, that's a promotional post. If you do it as an interesting clip from your class, from the point of view of teaching who currently is watching something new, then that's still kind of valuable as well. Nessa's saying, I posted inspirational posts on my Instagram. Yeah, I would say there's a lot of overlap, like similarities between XiaoHongShu and Instagram, by the way. So sometimes you're struggling to know, like, is this post going to do well, or like, is this the right kind of content to go with? Think about what you'd see on Instagram, and if you would engage well with that post if you came across something similar yourself on Instagram or similar platforms. I posted a funny meme post about business, and that got a few views. So my old niche. Yeah. That's great. And actually entertaining content, sorry, can also be very useful at reaching the right kind of people if it's kind of vibes with your audience. And it helps to build a bit more of a relationship in a fun way as well. Nikki, I've got the highest views with hints and tips on the IELTS speaking part. Greatest number of likes have been personal posts. Great. And it's interesting that I've also found you get a lot of likes and engagement on personal content because people can relate to it. But then valuable content might result in more students or potential students actually reaching out for classes. And that also might get more views because the algorithm loves stuff that is valuable and useful and educational for people. We'll learn more about the algorithm, by the way, in Friday's session. That's session 5 of the bootcamp. Great. Okay, I'm just going through the comments. I'm going to pick out a few of them, but then we're going to move on. So Kristen's saying, I want to start a video series of pronouncing hard phonetic blends like THQ, etc. Oh yes, this can be really difficult for students because like the TH, which actually has 2 sounds in English, they really struggle because it's actually just one sound, like the, right? It only makes one sound, but it looks like 2 letters. They think of it as 2 separate sounds that are being blended together. Same with QU, like we pronounce that Q, like queen or Q. Actually, that's different. In Q, it's like a K sound. Anyway, yes, that sounds like a great thing to post about because even I'm getting confused right now. So definitely valuable, useful content. Awesome. Okay, that gives you a few quick pointers. Let's go into more detail on each of these, and hopefully you'll get some ideas from that on what kind of things you can post within these categories. For each one, I'm just going to give you an example of something I've posted as well. Sorry, my face is hiding half the example, but we'll move across and look at it in a minute. So that first type of content we talked about is value posts. And I'm going to tell you right now up front, post as many value posts as you can. I would focus, particularly if you've got a brand new account and you're just trying to grow it and reach your audience and start to build that relationship and establish your expertise, post valuable content first. Start with valuable content and make that like 90% of your content. Go with that initially because that's going to help you grow most quickly. So value posts are adding value and teaching something new for your niche, focusing on your niche. So if you're teaching business English, don't start posting videos about phonics. Focusing on what's really important for your target audience. And I always recommend first thinking about what are the main challenges your target students are struggling with their English learning. So for example, if they are maybe they're university students and they want to get their first job and they want to apply for a job at like an English speaking company, but their English is not that great and they're struggling with the interview side. So their biggest challenge is knowing how to present themselves well in an interview. So then you could create a post with, or series of posts with advice on like how to do well in interviews, interview tips, how to phrase things in English in response to certain interview questions, what to dress for your interview, all that kind of thing. That's a value post. So think about the challenges and the biggest questions that your target students have and what they're really struggling with, and create content around that. Sometimes helps just to think about your actual classes, right? What kind of stuff do you teach your students because they really need help with it? That can be a great starting point. Now, here is a huge range of ideas. Feel free to take a screenshot right now of all of these ideas to come back to you later, because it's always helpful. So yeah, take a screenshot of this if you think any of these could be helpful. The key thing with these value posts is they're going to bring in new leads and they're going to establish you as an expert in your niche. So yeah, they should be the majority of the content you're posting. Can you read out the examples? It's a bit small, the screen, actually. I'm going to quickly run through it just in case it was appearing a bit too small on the screen. But yeah, so examples of things that you could do as value posts, working through example questions. That could be great for exam-focused niches. Analyzing text or articles, example dialogues or conversations that would link with the interview one, for example. An example of an interview dialogue. Word of the day, idiom of the week, short quizzes. There's actually a quiz feature within XiaoHongShu where you can get them to click and answer questions on like a quiz. Flashcards, top study tips, recommended apps or games. I've done a few things like recommended books. One of the posts I'm hiding for my face right now. Let me move it to the side. My face over here. Was top websites for reading about science. And this bonded particularly well, and because it was sharing useful, valuable, recommended resources that my target students would benefit from. So that could be a good example. You could also look at, like, again, recommended English books, worksheets, grammar explanations, phonics explanation videos, pronunciation videos, things like that. Depends very much on your niche as to what the best kind of content would be there. Okay, so that would be an example of a value post. As we go along, by the way, feel free to drop questions in the comments, and if you've got any ideas yourself or content you could post that fits within these categories and is suitable for your niche, just jot it down, because it's always helpful for you then to refer back to you later, because there's a lot you can do with these. Looking in the chat, is any questions coming up? I feel like we covered most of these things. Hopefully this is giving you some ideas. So last opportunity to take a quick screenshot before we move on of all these valuable posting ideas. Good, great screenshot, well done. Okay, moving on then to the next topic. Next topic is inspiration posts. And these are also very good to kind of post. They tend to get quite good engagement, and they can also help like followers who are a little bit further along in your funnel, that they've seen a couple of your posts already, and they want to get to know you a bit more, and they want to they need a little bit of prompting to make that next step towards thinking of buying your classes, if that makes sense. So inspiration posts, they appeal to your target customers' goals and longer term dreams. So for example, maybe you're an IELTS coach. The reason your students are taking the IELTS exam is because they want to study a postgraduate degree in America, perhaps. That could be your niche. So you could create inspirational content about life studying in America, or day in the life of an international student in America, or top recommended American universities that accept you with a 6.0 score on the IELTS exam, whatever. That kind of content that inspires them to pursue that goal, because they can see their dream like there in the post. Some examples include like student success stories, personal achievements. This could be your own personal achievements. So this post here on the screen, my face is sort of covering half of it. Let me just move me out of the way. This post here was talking about my university graduation, which was, oh gosh, I'm getting a bit old now, a few years back. But my university graduation, I was very happy to graduate with a first-class honours degree, which is like the highest grade in the UK university. And I made a post about it because I was like, this is great. And that inspires my target audience who also want to study science at top UK universities. So I made a post and talked about me and my studies. So it could be your students, talk about what your students have achieved. It could also be about you and what you have achieved. That particularly works, by the way, if you're doing more of a peer tutoring kind of approach. I know some tutors are like you yourself could be, that you went through the same thing, you're then helping your students achieve. For example, maybe you yourself took the IELTS exam in order to study in an English-speaking country, and you managed to get like an 8.0 score, like an amazing score on the IELTS exam. I was talking to one teacher recently who got like a 9.0 score as a non-native speaker. So a really great score, and then you could make a post about that and inspire other students who want to achieve the same thing. So that's a great way to use a personal achievement to promote your teaching, if you're doing that kind of peer teaching kind of approach in a way. Talk about your own language learning experiences. So I've made posts before talking about my Chinese learning experiences and some of the things I've learned myself from learning a foreign language. And that's obviously relevant if you're teaching English as a foreign language as well. Like talk about your own experiences learning Spanish or something and how that relates to other foreign language learning, such as English learning. Top university insights if you're working with students who want to study abroad. And then a sort of imagine if posts, like imagine if you got your dream job, this is what you could achieve. Those are just some ideas there of inspiration posts. Again, depends on your niche as to what your audience is aiming to achieve. So these posts basically inspire your followers to actually take action and start to really see what their goal could look like and what could happen if they keep working hard towards that goal. And it also could bring in some new leads and start to demonstrate expertise depending on what kind of thing you're talking about in that exact post. So yeah, hopefully I give you a few ideas there of things to get started with on those. Just a quick look in the comments. I've got a few questions that popped up. Nikki's saying, Katie, do you write your content in English plus the Chinese translation? That's what I've been doing. It's taking a long time. So personally, I write my content just in Chinese. You can do both. It depends. I personally opt to write it in Chinese because why do I do it in Chinese? That's a good question. Firstly, you want to make sure it's definitely got it in Chinese. Whether or not you put the translation in English is kind of up to you. Now, the reason I say you write it in Chinese is because your target audience are Chinese speakers. XiaoHongShu does not automatically translate things. So if you write it in English, they're going to have to sort of like try and understand what you've written. It's in a foreign language. If it's late in the evening and they're just scrolling casually on XiaoHongShu just to sort of see what stuff pops up, they're not going to necessarily have the brain power right there and then to try and decipher something that's written in a foreign language for them. So if you write it in Chinese, it's just immediately easy for them to read straight away. So make sure you've got Chinese and that's the first language you include on your post. If you want to put the English translation too, that's an option for you, particularly if you're targeting higher level English speakers who might actually want to use your post as kind of English practice, then you could include that too. But also bear in mind when we talk about the algorithm scans for keywords and stuff like that in your content. So if it's all in Chinese, then it's going to pick out Chinese keywords and recommend it to Chinese speakers. If you have a lot of English keywords in there, it might start recommending your content to English speakers, which is not your target audience. So just do be aware of that. We'll talk more about that on Friday's session, actually, about the algorithm that comes up in terms of that. Nicole's saying, can you link a Genie or WordWall that you've designed in your posts? You can't put links in XiaoHongShu posts, actually. That's a good question. You can't include links. You also can't include QR codes. If you put a QR code in the image, XiaoHongShu will block it. You can't put any external links in XiaoHongShu posts. So unfortunately not. What you could do is put a picture of that Genie or WordWall or like a video working through the slides on your Genie. I've done things like that myself on XiaoHongShu. And if you wanted, you could put like a thing in the description saying, drop me a message if you want the link. Or if you want to use this yourself with your students, not your students, with your kids or something, then let me know in the comments and then you can send it to them directly. You can send links via chat, like private chat. You just can't put it on public posts. And if you do, it just won't format as a link, so they won't be able to click on it. Okay, Virginia's asking, is Google Translate good for translating Chinese? It's okay. It does fine. I think if you've written relatively simple sentences, like simple sentence structures, nothing too complicated, then Google Translate works fine. If you write stuff that's a bit more complicated, sometimes it gets a bit confused. And if you use certain technical language, or if it's language that could be translated in multiple ways, like words that have multiple meanings, and the context is not clear enough, sometimes it gets mixed up. So I would say Google Translate is fine, but there are better options. I personally recommend DeepL. I think I talked about this last time as well, but I'll put it in the comments as well. So DeepL is quite a good one for translating into any foreign language. It's free and it's better than Google Translate. Some people have recommended ChatGPT as well for writing content in other languages. I have mixed opinions on it. Sometimes it's really great and occasionally it comes out with weird garbage. So whichever app you use, translate into Chinese and then back translate the Chinese back into English and make sure it still comes out as roughly what you put in. And if you can translate it back using a different app, just to double check, that could help. Yeah. Okay. I think that's most of the questions. By the way, if you've got any ideas yourself of posts you can make within these categories as we go along, feel free to drop them in the comments, thinking about your niche, like what kind of inspirational content could you post for your niche. I'd also mention as well, if you've got the workbook, there's lots of things in the workbook to help you come up with some of these post ideas. So it's a good opportunity to start jotting down some comments in the workbook. Okay, we're going to move on. So last chance to take a screenshot of these suggestions before we move on. Take a quick screenshot to look at later. It's always a bit easier than trying to find stuff in the replay. Quick look in the chat. I think we've covered everything in the chat. Great. Okay, let's move on to the last two post types. And these I'll go through a bit more quickly because basically I'm trying to say don't post them too much, basically. So the last two post types are personal stories. Ooh, weird hiccup. Personal stories and promotional posts. So let's start with the personal stories. Personal stories, they help you build close relationships and rapport with your potential students. So they're like telling a story about you. So this could be like important life update, that video I talked about before about me moving to Japan. I made a little video about it, shared it with my audience in case they were interested. It could also be like something you did, or maybe an interesting cultural event or festival or celebration you went to that could be of interest to your target students. Particularly if you're helping students who want to move abroad for work or for studies or something. Talking about your life in your country can help to kind of inspire them. It kind of counts a bit as an inspiration post as well, by sharing some of your personal insights into life in your country. So it's an opportunity to build a bit of relationship, share a bit about you. I know we've got some teachers here who are parents, and you're trying to sell classes for kids. You could talk about your own experiences with your kids and helping them with their education and their learning, particularly if they've learned languages before and you've been helping them with their language learning. I think there's a teacher yesterday who was talking about like raising bilingual kids, which is a great thing to post about. And not only is that plenty valuable or inspirational, depending on the phrasing of the post, but it's also a personal story that helps to build rapport. So that's a great thing you could post about as well. Now, I would generally say with personal posts, they don't always bring in lots of new leads, depending on what you're writing about. But if it's very much focused just on you, it's not necessarily going to bring in loads of new leads because you're not teaching them something new that's going to do well in the algorithm to reach the right people. So it's more about building relationships and appealing to existing followers who might then start reaching out to you about classes. It's kind of getting to know you on a more personal level. Personally, I recommend not doing too many personal stories as actual feed posts, but instead posting them using what's called the Hey Post option on XiaoHongShu. This is a bit like Instagram stories, and they only really get seen by your actual followers. So it kind of builds more relationship with people already connected with you. So that's the way I would use personal stories rather than doing lots of posts about it in your main feed. I do post occasionally in your main feed about it because people like to know who you are. But if you just post personal stories, you might start reaching the wrong audience. Like there was one teacher I was talking to who was really into golf and posted lots and lots of content about like them playing golf and stuff. And they got lots of followers and interest from other people who like golf, but their classes were nothing to do with golf. So those people weren't actually interested in buying classes, and it wasn't really helping them in terms of teaching the algorithm to show you to the right people. Just bear that in mind. Okay, so that's a bit about personal stories. Let's see if any questions in the chat here. Is commenting, I have to get married or have a relationship. No, don't worry. I don't mean relationships quite like that. So yeah, building a relationship with your audience is in them getting to know you. Building a friendship, shall we say. Let's not try and use XiaoHongShu as a dating site. That probably wouldn't go well. Okay, so that's a bit about personal stories. I'm going to move my face over to the other side, and then we're going to have a look at, my face moved too much. We're going to look a little bit also here at promotional stories. So I talked before, don't post loads of promotional content. And I'll be really careful about posting on XiaoHongShu. If you're a brand new account, don't post anything promotional. And I say that straight away. Until you've got like a few hundred followers at least, then don't post any directly promotional content. So promotional content is anything that directly mentions your classes. This could be reviews from previous students. It could be like lists of classes that you teach. It could be clips from classes you teach. It could be things like a Student of the Week award, which you could say is not necessarily directly promotional, but it is very much implying that you're teaching classes and you're trying to sell classes. Things like that count as promotional posts. If you are going to post some promotional content, I would recommend only posting it within Hey Posts, so stories, which means it's only going to reach your existing followers. And just posting it very sparingly. Be very careful with promotional content. Because this basically is where you risk getting blocked or any kind of issues on XiaoHongShu, is if you post too much promotional stuff. Okay, so a quick look in the chat here. Nicole is saying, I'd like to do what you said, post a video or picture of the activity I've created on Genially or Wordle, or even worksheets like freebies. Yeah, that's a really great idea. Excellent idea for a value post. And you can talk in the description, the post description, about the main content of that worksheet or that Genially or whatever. So for example, I recently posted a video that was me working through a Genially slides that I've been using in my lessons recently about volcanoes. So I worked through the slides and I talked a bit about the volcano and some interesting content and stuff. And then in the description, I gave a lot more detail and advice for students who are interested in learning more about volcanoes using, and like English learning using what we call content and language integrated learning. So kind of combining science learning with language learning and things like that. So you can post valuable content, like description about the video or about the picture that you've shared. And yes, it's a great opportunity to share a freebie. You hear like freebies, like a value post. So a way of getting people onto your WeChat, and we briefly mentioned this previously, I think in one of the earlier lives, but a way of getting people off XiaoHongShu onto your WeChat is basically saying, drop me a message or comment below if you're interested in getting this worksheet yourself, or you want to get these set of slides yourself. People then would reach out to you and ask for you to send it to them. And that then is your lead magnet, your freebie that then converts them into like a WeChat contact, which is then your opportunity to start properly selling classes. So yeah, great ideas. Saeed is saying, can you repeat again, post where? Oh, this is about these ones, the personal stories and promotional posts. Okay, so on XiaoHongShu, there are several different post types. When you first join, you don't get access to Hey Post. So if you don't see it straight away, you probably just haven't got enough like user points or something on XiaoHongShu yet. But I don't think you get access straight away. But as well as the main feed post, which is a bit like how on Instagram you can make a main post and it gets posted as a, you know, like an image or a video or whatever. You can also make what are called Hey posts, and Hey posts act basically the same way as Instagram stories. Although they've got a few nice templates and other formats, which is quite nice. If you play around with the Hey posts, there's a lot more information on Hey posts in the XiaoHongShu marketing course, which is in the description of this video if you want to check it out. So in the full XiaoHongShu marketing course, we've got a whole section all about Hey posts and different types of Hey posts and things like that. But yeah, it's called a Hey post. You'll find a link to it either directly under your profile. It'll say like a little plus button. It'll say like post Hey or something. Or if you go to the main home screen and then scroll to the left, it appears sort of like tiny little dot in the corner. That's to make a Hey post. It could be hard to find, but if you message in the Facebook group, we can share some screenshots there. Okay, Virginia is asking, what category would stories about students fall in? Like frequent mistakes, anonymous student, of course. So I would say if you're making a post that's like, you know, the top 5 mistakes students make when preparing for the IELTS exam. So I'm just picking IELTS as an example, because it's always an easy one to go with. So that would then be a value post, because you're sharing like the top 5 mistakes and hopefully how to avoid those mistakes. So it's sharing valuable, useful information. If instead it's more of a like student profile or like a student success story, that would be a promotional post. So I would recommend going more with the frequent mistakes suggestion rather than like student success story. You can mention those occasionally, but rather than doing stuff that's too promotional, if you can twist it to be in a way, not twist, that sounds weird, but like tweak it to be in a way that's phrased more valuably and educationally, that tends to do better. Okay, Harry's asking, how do students actually contact you? So within XiaoHongShu, there is a private messaging feature. So people can message via private messages. So what I usually recommend doing when you make a post, if you want people to contact you as a result of something in the post, like maybe you posted a picture of a sort of worksheet or an activity, and they can message you to get this activity themselves, which they can then use for their own English learning or whatever. You could say, like, end your post description with a comment along the lines of, comment below with worksheet and I'll send you the free worksheet. Something like that. That's one way in which people then reach out, contact you, or prompt you to reach out and contact them. So yes, they can contact you by private messages. Again, very similar to how Instagram works. There's a lot of overlap, a lot of similarities there. Pierre's asking, hi Katie, would you actually post content that you actually teach? Yes, you can do. And actually that's a great way to connect with your target audience, because if it's content you actually teach, probably also going to be valuable content for potential students too. So yeah, don't feel you have to post absolutely everything you teach about. But if you pick out key things that relate to the content you're teaching, so for example, if you find your students always struggle with certain things, you can make a post that shares useful advice to help them with whatever they're struggling with. And that would be a very valuable post. Okay, right, I feel like I'm rambling a lot here. I just wanted to, this is meant to be more of a quick overview of post types before we move on to the putting together a posting calendar thing. But I hope that gives you an idea of the different kind of posts that you can create. So there's 4 kind of post types, which is value posts, inspiration posts, personal posts, and promotional posts. And I've used this kind of like pie chart to sort of show a bit about how I would distribute those. This is what I try and do now, as someone I've got about 1,500 followers on XiaoHongShu, I think, at the moment, which is a sort of still small sized, but enough that I've got like good engagement already. So at this point, I would say I got a good mixture of mostly valuable content and inspirational content and occasional personal and promotional stuff. Now, if you're brand new and you're just starting out, I would make this value segment even bigger. Like focus almost entirely on the valuable stuff and maybe a bit of inspirational stuff. And don't do any promotional content yet until you've got at least a few hundred followers. Just because that way that you can really establish yourself as an expert and show that you're a valuable and educational account. So yeah, do try and find a good balance. Okay, so that was meant to be the first half. We ran a little bit of my time keeping there. But next I want to talk to you a bit about how you can put together a posting schedule. So all these are great ideas for posts, and hopefully it's been going along, you've been jotting down some of these ideas and thinking of new content you could post about. But we want to really put together a proper schedule or regular schedule of posts. And I want to ask you, why do you think this is important? Why do we actually need a posting schedule rather than just posting things randomly when you feel like it? What is the point of a posting schedule? A quick check in the chat if I've missed anything as well. I feel like I covered all the questions. Great. So let me know what you think. Why are we creating a posting schedule? What is the purpose of a posting schedule? Always a difficult one. Also, by the way, while you're thinking about it, if you'd like to click like on the video and subscribe, it's a really great way of getting this video shared with more people. And we always talk a lot about the important things like engagement when you're posting on XiaoHongShu. Also helps us a lot here on YouTube and reaching more teachers like you. So do feel free to like the video while you're here and thinking of some ideas. Okay, so you're just saying to hold oneself accountable. Yes, accountability is really important. If you have a schedule and it tells you that on Mondays you're meant to be posting something, and then you don't do it on a Monday, you're going to feel guilty because it was in your schedule, it was in your plan. So it's that little bit of a prompt as the accountability. Excellent. Oh, I like this one from Nikki. So your niche, start looking out for your next post. Yes, people start to pick up on what kind of content you're posting and when you post it. And then when it gets to Monday, you didn't make your post. They'll send you a message being like, where's your post? I always love your Monday post where you talk about the latest news in English or something. And they want to see more of it. It gets them excited as well of what to see next. That's just saying consistency. Absolutely, consistency. Bob's saying something similar. Continuity and showing up regularly. Definitely. Now, this is interesting. In terms of the algorithm, consistency doesn't really matter on XiaoHongShu. But in terms of what your followers are expecting, they like to see that you're posting things regularly and you have a plan, because then they can get excited about what to look forward to next week. Virginia is saying something similar here too. Reliability, definitely. Yes, Harry, developing an audience habit. Yes, they get into the habit of looking out for that post that you make every week on a Monday. And they'll be excited to see the next one, and they'll almost have it in their calendar, or at least in their sort of imaginary calendar, to look out for that post if it was really valuable, and they know that the content next week will be equally valuable too. Lily's saying it's easy to forget. Yes, it's not just about actual success on the app, it's also just about you personally remembering to keep doing things. Particularly, we talked before about motivation. It's very easy to lose motivation if you don't get engagement and stuff initially, and then you completely lose it entirely and you forget to post for months on end, and then you've lost it. So yeah, it's very easy to forget, and if you get yourself into a habit because you've got a regular schedule, that really helps. Bella saying builds trust. Absolutely. Now just talking about engagement, keeping yourself visible. Yes, because the algorithms only show your content to a small percentage of your followers at a time. So if you post more regularly, more of your people are going to see that content. So it helps keep you more visible. Yes, definitely builds rapport. Great idea, Pierre. Nicole saying, keep track of your post types. Yes, if you're posting regularly, you've got a schedule, you know that you're posting like mostly value posts and a few inspirational posts or something, because your schedule says that on Monday you do this, Wednesday you're going to do this, and on Saturday you're going to do this, and you haven't put in your schedule too much promotional content. You've got more valuable stuff in your schedule. Definitely. Lots of great ideas there. And saving time. Yes, this is something I think people don't realize, but it saves you a hell of a lot of time if you have a plan, because the planning is almost the most difficult part. Great. Okay, so I put a few ideas here as well of what I've kind of jotted down. Firstly, that we talked before about the importance of consistency. Your audience then knows what to expect. They get excited to see that content again next week, and they keep following because they want to see more of it. Also means if someone's just randomly stumbled across your account on XiaoHongShu, they've seen one of your posts, they quite liked it. Then they click through to your profile and they see you've got loads more content on similar kind of topics on a regular schedule. They'll be like, wow, I better follow you to see even more of this stuff. So that consistency really helps, and is really quite important here. Also, it helps remove what I call indecision barriers. A lot of the teachers I've spoken to, they have some great ideas. Okay, they've put a lot of effort into like optimizing their profile, and it all looks beautiful. But then they spent ages antagonizing over like what to post next. And there's that kind of indecision paralysis. It's what decision paralysis. Like you sit there thinking, like, do I post this content or this idea? Maybe a video would do well today, but actually I don't quite have time, so I'm not quite sure if that's going to work. And last time I posted that, I don't know. And you think too much, and you don't get around to actually posting anything. So by having that planning already done for you, you don't need to make that decision, because it already tells you in your schedule that today is Tuesday. On Tuesdays, you always post a book review. So you're going to post a book review, and that's decision made. And another thing this links into what Nicole was saying about saving time. You can batch create content upfront, like just spend a whole day making a whole bunch of posts with your book reviews, and then pre-schedule them on XiaoHongShu so they go out on autopilot every week. And that way you can just sit back and relax and not have to do anything, and your marketing is working for you. Almost. I mean, you do have to check in, make sure it's all working well and replying to messages. But that way you don't have to worry too much about each day or every few days remembering to make that post. And that's my main tip, I would say, in terms of saving time. Batch creating content and pre-scheduling posts really, really helps. I'm going to show you in tomorrow's session how to schedule posts, because that's going to be really, really helpful for a lot of people. So yeah, and I would recommend, if you've got like an afternoon free or a whole day free or a whole weekend even free at some point, sit down and batch make a whole bunch of your content and set it up on autopilot. Because sometimes if you just make it a few times, it doesn't get great engagement initially, and then you lose the motivation to keep posting it before it gets the opportunity to do well. So if you've made a whole bunch of it upfront, saves a load of time, and also means that you don't have that like moment later on where you start rethinking your decision before it's had opportunity to prove itself. Nikki's saying, blimey, that's me. Indecision barriers galore. I'm the same. I'm going to be honest with you, and this is one of those opportunities, these things where I'm like, we should practice what I preach. Like, I have the same problem as well with like my own marketing, particularly on like Facebook and things like that, because yeah, exactly this. I think, should I do this? Should I do that? But when I put together a plan, suddenly it becomes a hell of a lot easier. So yes, let's get rid of those indecision barriers. Okay, so now we know why this is so important. Let's have a look at how to put together a posting schedule. And I've got an example here. Let me just make myself a bit smaller so we can see it. My face is always in the way. Where should we put me? Over here? No, I'm blocking that. There we go. You can almost see it now. Okay, so I've got an example here of a posting schedule. And people always ask me, how often should you post? There is no right or wrong answer. The more you post, the more opportunities you have to reach more people, but also potentially like you start losing quality. So I think it's better to post slightly less often, but post highly valuable, good quality content and be able to keep up with it, rather than having a plan of posting every day and burning out within a couple of weeks. So I personally recommend, if you're just starting out and you have huge amounts of time in your hands to be posting all the time, plan to post 2 to 3 times per week. It's an easy enough starting point. You can find a couple of hours a week to do that, and it's not be overwhelming. So I would recommend 2 to 3 times while you're starting out, just to get yourself into the habits and have a schedule and start to grow things. Now I've got an example here of, I'm going to work through a few different examples for different example niches. So let's have a look at someone who's maybe teaching for early reading. What kind of content might post? We talked before about focusing on valuable and inspirational posts. So we're going to go with that. And I would say Monday, Wednesday, Friday is quite a nice, easy schedule to pick. Obviously, depending on your own personal schedule, pick days that work for you. So maybe on Monday, you'll post a phonics video that introduces the TH, someone talked about earlier about the different phonics things. I'm not an expert on phonics, but anyway. So like TH, and there's two TH sounds, right? The voiced and the unvoiced TH sound. So you're going to do a phonics video about that on Monday. Then on Wednesday, you're going to post a phonics worksheet that relates to whatever you did on Monday. So if Monday was about the TH, on Wednesday, you're going to have a worksheet, and the worksheet's going to have activities like categorize these words into whether the TH sound is voiced or unvoiced or something. You know how these things work, right? A worksheet that relates to the video in Monday's post. Then on Friday, you're going to do a short reading story that also links to what you did on Monday and Wednesday. So it's one of those like guided reading things that have lots of TH sounds in it to help them practice. That could be an example of something that might work with lots of valuable, value-focused content for phonics and early reading. And the thing you might notice here, I've just written phonics video. I haven't written TH sound video because the following week, you're just going to pick a different phoneme and then do it again with a different one. So, this week it's going to be TH. Next week, we're going to look at the CH sound. And the week after that, we're going to look at like SH. So we're looking here at sounds that use two letters to make one sound. I know there's a phonics word for it. It's escaped my brain. Digraphs? That. Okay, so that's going to be your plan. And the great thing is you made this one plan and you can implement this. You can probably come up with, say, 50 or so different phonics. I think in English there's 44 sounds, right, in the English language. So that's almost a year's worth of content now planned out already, just with this, which is great. So that's the idea of this. We're picking like overall categories that then can be easily replicated in future weeks. I also like that this all links together because that way when someone sees your phonics video on Monday, you can say in the video, check out Wednesday's post. On Wednesday, I'm going to give you a worksheet to help you practice this, which then means that people get excited. And if they haven't subscribed and followed you yet, they'll be like, oh, I better follow so I get that worksheet on Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, you say, by the way, if you want more practice and you want to actually inspire your kid to use this in a more interesting context, on Friday, I'm going to be reading a short story using this exact phoneme. So make sure you tune in again on Friday. And in that way, people get excited about future content, so they follow you to see more. Okay, I'm talking a lot, but hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of one example. I'm going to move my face over here. Sorry, there's a lot of my face moving around. I should have planned these slides out a bit better. I flew across the screen. There we go. Let's have a look at another niche. And by the way, while I'm going through these examples, please pop in the chat what you think you could do, just some quick ideas as you come up with them for a posting schedule for your niche. Because I'm only going to pick out a few examples here because we can't go through everyone's all in one go. So pop in the chat what you're thinking of as we go along, and we can chat about those then as well. So that was a phonics and early reading example. Next, I'm going to switch to the complete opposite end of the kind of English teaching spectrum, and we're going to look at business English for tech professionals. Imagine that's your niche. And we're going to stick with 3 times a week. And in this particular example, maybe on Monday, you're going to look at interview sentence structures. And you're going to have like a list of example sentence structures you can use to apply to common interview questions. And then on Wednesday, you're going to post a video, which is like a mock interview dialogue using those same questions that you did on Monday's post. So Monday might be a list of like 3 sentence structures you can use to respond to the question, why are you applying for a job in our company? Okay, then Wednesday, you're going to have an actual video of you answering it using those same questions, those same sentence structures. And then we're going to get to Friday, and on Friday, you're going to post featuring an international tech company and salaries of these tech companies. So the first 2 posts here are value posts. They're showing valuable, useful content. And then Friday's post, this one is more of an inspiration post. It's inspiring them that once they've mastered those skills in your earlier posts, these are the tech companies they could be applying to. And look, wow, if you've got a job working with Apple, you could double your salary compared to in China or whatever. So that could be another structure that could work for tech industry business English niche as an example. It's nice when they link together. They don't all have to. Depends on your niche and what kind of content you're posting as to what would work best. Okay, by the way, feel free to drop in the comments your ideas as we go along. I'd love to just get an idea of what kind of things you're thinking of, what you're thinking of posting, and we can always chat about those then as well. I see Kristen just messaging here saying got another workshop to get to. That's totally fine. Feel free to catch up on the replay with some of the stuff that's coming up next. And I'll see you tomorrow, Kristen. Thanks for tuning in. Nikki's saying, I'm going to do this, batch create post. Absolutely, it's the way to go, it really is. Saves so much time and effort. Okay, let's have a look at one final example of a posting schedule. And this links in more to my niche, which is scientific English for middle schoolers. So maybe on Monday, you can make a post with like a diagram you're going to label with keywords. So for example, recently I mentioned I did a video recently about volcanoes because I was teaching some of my students about volcanoes. So maybe on Monday, it's going to be a diagram of a volcano you'll label. In a different week, it'll be a diagram of a different thing. Then on Wednesday, there could be a fun science experiment that kind of links to whatever the topic was on Monday. And then on Friday, it's going to be like scientific discovery or interesting news related thing in science of the week. So that's more of an inspirational post. First two being value posts, Friday's one being more of an inspirational, exciting, kind of entertaining post. So that would be an idea of a quick structure there. Okay, Nicole's just messaging saying, can you go over how you'd share the worksheet or activity after mentioning send me a PM if you want the worksheet? Okay, so if you've asked them to send you a message, then they're going to message you directly. Now, you can't send files through XiaoHongShu's chat. So your response to that is, I would love to send you the worksheet. Please add me on WeChat and I'll send it to you. So this is when you start then getting them onto your WeChat contacts list, which is a much more direct messaging. Like people don't tend to have their XiaoHongShu notifications turned on. Whereas on WeChat, they'll almost certainly have WeChat notifications on, which means when you send a message to them on WeChat, they'll see it because they'll get a pop-up notification on their phone being like, Teacher Nicole sent you a message, which start with will be their free worksheet. But then later on, you can message them and be like, oh, do you want some more like questions on this? Do you want to join my WeChat group? Would you like some classes? And follow on where the conversation goes. Don't try and sell straight away, but build that relationship and go from there. We talked a bit actually in the WeChat Bootcamp about some of those sort of strategies. That was a while back. Yes. So basically, once they message you, you then encourage them to add you on WeChat to actually receive the file directly. On WeChat, there's like a plus button. You click plus, and then you select the file, and it uploads it, and it sends it in a chat, just like with WhatsApp. If you're opening WeChat on your computer, you can just drag and drop the file into the chat, and it will send it. So it's quite easy to do. What I'd recommend doing, though, rather than saying send me a PM, tell them to comment underneath the video, saying they want the freebie. Like comment and then tell them what word to comment to receive this free worksheet. Because that way you're going to get more engagement on the post because people will be commenting. And it also means that sometimes send me a message, you'll get flagged up as a kind of promotional thing on XiaoHongShu. And they might not promote your post so much because they're like, oh, if you want people to message you, that looks a bit spammy. Whereas encourage people to comment boosts engagement on the platform. So the algorithm likes that. So I would instead have your call to action be comment below with this and I'll send you the worksheet. And then you just send them a PM saying, I'd love to send you the worksheet. We have to chat on WeChat to get it. I'm rambling. There's going to be more on this tomorrow when we talk about how to make a post because I will show you exactly how to put that call to action in. Okay, Harry's asking, do you have a science curriculum to sell with Abridge? We do actually have some science lessons in the Abridge Academy curriculum. So if you're interested, this is a bit off topic. Sorry, I just mentioned it very quickly. If you want to check out the Abridge Academy curriculum, just Google Abridge Academy curriculum. There's also a link below that goes to the Abridge Academy website and then click on curriculum on the header of the website. And the ultimate curriculum package includes all of the expansion courses. And there's an expansion course called Science Boost, and it has like a whole load of science lessons that cover most of like the middle school science curriculum. And there's also a whole bunch of other shorter courses, like there's a Space Explorers course that is very science related. It's not like a full curriculum, but there's a lot of science related content that's designed for ESL students, but who want to learn science in English. It's basically the stuff that I use my own students when I'm teaching middle school science students who want to go study in like an international school or study abroad. So yes, feel free to check that out. And there's a free version. You can sign up for free to get started with Abridge Academy curriculum to check out some of the lessons before upgrading. Okay, that's enough rambling. Enough of a sales pitch. Okay, so that gives you a quick idea then of how you can put together a posting schedule. You're welcome, Nicole. I'm glad this helped. Absolutely, it's about planning for class. Same idea. Making a plan is always a good start. So we've got our rough plan there. Let's have a look at how we can actually then flesh out this posting schedule. So you've got your broader post topics. Oops, my face is covering everything again. My face is too big. We'll go with that. Okay, so we've got our initial schedule. I'm going to pick that last row from the earlier slide, which was about scientific English for middle schoolers. And we had those 3 broad categories. Once you've done that, and this is in your workbook, by the way, so if you look in your workbook, you'll find something that looks like this. Once you've done that, you can then put a lot more details in about how you're going to make these posts. The idea of planning this upfront, like we were saying earlier, is that it then saves you time when it comes to actually posting it in the future, because you don't need to make any of these decisions. It's all planned out for you. For example, we said that on Monday, let's move my face over here. I can be a bit bigger now. Yay, look at me. Okay, on Mondays, we're going to be labeling a diagram with keywords. That was our topic. So what do we actually mean by this? So it's going to be a value-focused post. That's our goal. I'm going to post it as a Canva graphic. That tells me I don't need to think about how I want to format it. I'm going to go straight onto Canva and I'm going to find a diagram or whatever the topic is that week. And we're going to put an annotating task and it's done. So that's my plan, Canva graphic, and it's going to be a value-focused post. That's the goal. Then you can just brainstorm a whole bunch of ideas of different posts you can do that fits within that theme. So basically, what diagrams can you pick? So one example could be structure of a plant and then labeling the parts of a plant. And then separately labeling the parts of flower, actually would also link in with that. Parts of a volcano, groups of the periodic table. And like you can make hundreds of these. You don't just have to pick 3. I've just put 3 here because there's only limited space on the screen. But you can literally jot down hundreds of ideas of different diagrams you can make in science. There are loads of them, right? Obviously, depending on your niche, you pick something relevant. Like your theme would be different depending on your niche. The idea is then you can then come up with lots of individual post ideas within this overall theme. So that's on Monday. On Monday, we're going to do a Canva graphic. That's a diagram with keywords. Then on Tuesday, we said it's going to be a fun science experiment. So you actually think a bit more, okay, that sounds great. Well, how am I actually going to format that? Well, my fun science experiment, I think a good way of doing this would be a video of how to do the experiment. You can actually make a whole, you could do a whole thing. You could do it just as a picture. You could do it as a how-to step-by-step guide workbook thing. But let's go with a video. And again, this is a value-focused post. So here are some ideas of videos you could do that are fun home science experiments that link in with the posts from Monday. So Monday, if on Monday we posted structure of a plant, you'll see that the corresponding Wednesday video would be growing plants in different environments. Like growing a plant in the dark versus in the sunshine, growing with different amounts of water, that kind of thing. Similarly, if the post on Monday was a volcanoes topic, parts of a volcano, so the theme of the week is volcanoes, then on Wednesday, we'll do that, making a model volcano with the, what's it called? It's a neutralization reaction. And it makes like a bubbling volcano, model volcano experiment. Not really an experiment, technically, you're not testing anything. But anyway, make a fun model volcano at home activity. And if maybe on Monday you posted groups of the periodic table, like labeling the different groups, on Wednesday, maybe the topic could be a home acids and alkalis experiment or something, and you could talk specifically about like the metal and the non-metal that are reacting together to make a salt, and there are different parts of the periodic table, and you could highlight those in your video. Sorry, science teacher here. So that's our plan for Wednesday. Let's look on the last day. Sorry if I'm rambling, I just think it's helpful to have a look through some of this, and it gives you an idea of how you'd actually implement stuff in the workbook. So I hope this helps. On Friday, we said the topic, the general theme was scientific discovery or news thing of the week. And this one, it could be a video, it could be an article of some kind. Maybe you can mix things up every now and then. You don't have to stick to the same format. I feel like an article might work well, but it depends a bit on the topic. And the idea here is it's quite an inspirational post. It's going to inspire the students to want to learn more about science, because look at this really cool thing that happened recently in science. And like if you knew more about science, you'd be able to learn more of this stuff. Isn't that awesome? So it's inspirational. And some ideas of exact post topics. And sort of like mix things up each week, depending if it's linking in with the news. Maybe it's a bit hard to plan. But anyway, it could be that if the theme was about plants, then the Friday article could be unusual plants in extreme environments. The plants that grow in volcanoes and weird stuff like that. If the theme of the week was volcanoes, then on Friday we could talk about the story of a famous volcano. And if the theme of the week was a periodic table, then on Friday we can have more of a history-related thing about the history of the periodic table. Lots of interesting stories and background there. So yeah, this will be some ways of planning out your posting schedule So start with a broad category. Hang on, I'll move my face over here again. Yay, flying face. Okay, so first bit is your post theme, overall theme that you're going to plan out as your overall broad topic. Then you're going to plan out what format it's going to be in and what the goal of it is. What's the point in this post? Always, everything you post must have a purpose. Then you're going to plan out a whole bunch of ideas of specific posts, like titles, specific post topics you're going to post each week. And that could be like an almost infinite amount of stuff you could put down there within each category. And that's the idea. So you're saying volcano, I don't know how to pronounce that, Popocatépetl in Mexico is making news right now. That is awesome. I will check that out because my students will be very excited about that. We're doing volcanoes at the moment. It's very cool. Great. We had an article recently about, it was also another volcano in Mexico, different one, which was the first volcano that scientists have been able to measure the entire life cycle of, like from when it first erupted, it first appeared, through to being declared extinct, which was very interesting. Well, I thought it was interesting anyway. Okay, sorry, words today. Sayed is also asking, how long can the video post be? Okay, so I think this depends a little bit on how old your account is, and like as XiaoHongShu is like user levels. So as you post more, you get like points towards different levels, and you reach certain achievements, and you unlock more features within XiaoHongShu. So I think when you first start out, you can only post short videos, and later on, you can post longer videos. But you can post things that are like 20 minutes long if you wanted to. But you have to upload those via your computer. It won't allow you to upload that via the app because the file size is too big. But you can post really long videos if you want. I wouldn't recommend it though. Personally, I would recommend a video should be absolute maximum 3 minutes, ideally more like 1 minute long. People these days have very short attention spans. So if you post something that's massively long, they're not going to watch the whole thing. So most of it is wasted. It takes a long time to edit videos. So if you're editing like a 20-minute long video, there's a hell of a lot of work, most of which they won't see. So make your videos sort of 1 to 3 minutes long would be my recommendation. Because yeah, people tend to flick quite quickly through things on these apps. Oh, Bella's commenting, Etna in Sicily. Yes, that was an interesting one to see. The year I remember reading an article about it erupting. I think it's like erupting all the time, that volcano is. I'm sure that's the one I'm thinking of. Awesome. I feel like volcanoes are really cool, but I don't actually know that much about them. I just seem to be teaching them at the moment. It's very exciting though. Awesome. Okay, so hopefully this gave you an idea of how to put together a posting schedule and how you would structure things in terms of your planning. So I want to just go through this as an example here. So yeah. Moving swiftly on then to your task for today. So that brings us to the end of today's webinar. Only 10 minutes over time. Not too bad for me. I'm getting better at timekeeping, honest. Okay, so your task for today is to put together your XiaoHongShu posting schedule using all of this great stuff that we've been learning today. So start off by thinking about drafting out as many ideas as you can for value posts and inspiration posts in particular. And then, so I say like list 5 to 10 post category ideas for each of those post types, particularly the value posts and the inspiration posts. Pick from that big long list 2 to 3 key post categories, like general themes, that you're then going to make a regular post schedule of. And then what we just looked at, the example that I just worked you through, you're going to do exactly the same thing, but with your 2 to 3 post themes to come up with a whole bunch of very specific topic ideas that you can then make going forwards. And this means you've now got a whole bunch of content already pre-prepared. So you can now go ahead and once you're ready, start batch creating a whole lot of that content, pre-schedule it all out. You've got a whole plan there. And it takes away all of that decision paralysis and stuff we were talking about. So hopefully this was a useful kind of approach. If you don't have the workbook yet, the link is in the description to access the course. It's free. If you haven't registered yet, please make sure you've registered and you get access to the workbook, which you can see some pictures of above. And it's great. It took me a long time to make, so please do have a look at the workbook. If you're on the email list, you would have got an email yesterday as well with a direct link to the workbook. I know a few people were struggling to find it in the course platform. In the course platform, the workbook is linked underneath each of the replay videos. So just look at one of the replays and it's in the description of the video on the course platform. You can find it. Okay, so that is your homework for today. And once you've done that, take a screenshot of your posting schedule, post it in the Facebook group, and then people can share their own feedback and ideas and suggestions and maybe more topics or more particular post topics you can do. It's a great way to learn from each other. Okay. Any questions on what we've been looking at so far? A question here from Nikki. I haven't been able to link my XiaoHongShu account to on my phone to my laptop. Any ideas? Okay, so XiaoHongShu has got a website. It's creator.xiaohongshu.com. I'm going to put that in chat right now. Creator.xiaohongshu.com. If you go to creator.xiaohongshu.com, it will first direct you to a login page. On the login screen, there'll be a little tab that appears to change to scanning a QR code. I would recommend doing that rather than the putting your phone number in option, because I've never got the phone number login to work properly. So click on the scan a QR code option. Within the XiaoHongShu app itself, open up the XiaoHongShu app, find the QR code scanning bit, and scan that QR code, and it should log you in. You have to scan it within the XiaoHongShu app. I've seen people try and scan their QR code via their phone's normal camera app. That doesn't work. You have to go into XiaoHongShu. It's in when you go to your profile page, then you click on the top left corner, there's a hamburger menu, which opens up a whole bunch of random options. And right at the bottom, it says scan. It's really hidden and hard to find. If you're struggling to find it, put a message in the Facebook group and I can record a quick screen share video showing where to find it from my phone. Once you found it, it's easy. But if you're scanning with the wrong thing, it won't work. And that should then open things up. Okay, Nicole is asking, when you share the article, how is that structured? Do you mean copy text like on a template? Or how do you screenshot it? Oh, so if it's like a news article or something? I tend to, so you could just take a screenshot and post that as the image. I would recommend formatting it a bit yourself so it looks nice, considering the small screen size that they're looking at. I'd format the article in a way that means that they can actually read it more clearly. And if you want to make this kind of a regular thing you're posting about, one thing I've seen work quite effectively is starting off with like a vocab list or something, or like a quick intro type slide, and then they can flick through, do it as a carousel post, and they can flick through and read at each paragraph and maybe highlight some key things, annotate it, like make it more valuable than just a normal article that they could just read online. And then in the description of the post, you could put like the actual full article and maybe a translation or whatever, depending exactly on what your goal is with this post. It's up to you. I'm not sure there's a right or wrong way of doing this. And you'll find lots of different examples of things if you browse on XiaoHongShu as to how people have done that. Like if on XiaoHongShu you just search for like English news article, put that in the search and see what comes up. You'll find loads of other ways that people have done it, and you can see how effective you think each one is. Okay, Stephanie is asking, does the time you post matter, like morning, afternoon, or evening? There's a lot of debate on this. Personally, I say it doesn't matter a huge amount, but don't post when everyone's asleep. So, like, try and post. Bearing in mind your audience is mostly going to be in Beijing time if you're targeting Chinese students. So post like either in the morning Beijing time or like mid-afternoon. So like you're getting people just before they go to work, or like just as they're leaving work and they're on their commute home and they're browsing XiaoHongShu on their phone. Those would be good times, I think, to post. If you post when it's overnight Beijing time, most of your target audience is going to be asleep, so they're not going to engage with it very well until maybe 5 or 6 hours later. So there's a lot of sort of dead time when it's not getting much engagement. So I would recommend posting just before your target audience is going to be active. Particularly if you're then going to go and spend time like engaging with other people's posts, you're going to reshare it on WeChat and various other things you can do to boost engagement on that post. You want to do that while people are actually awake and engaging on XiaoHongShu. But you can experiment in different times. You don't have to stick to a specific schedule. Try out different times, see what's more effective. Personally, I feel like it's more important to focus on other things to optimize. The post time is a minor factor in terms of the impact like it's going to have. But once you've mastered various other strategies, you can also start experimenting with different times and see if it affects things. Yeah. That's what we said. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm glad this was helpful. Great to see. Nassus is commenting, thanks, Katie. It takes some time to think about what to post. Yes, that's why you've got some time to go away, look at the workbook, plan out some ideas. Get some ideas down and share it in the Facebook group and discuss with each other. It's always good to bounce ideas off each other. Thank you, Harry. It's great to hear this was helpful. Good to know. And Bob as well. Thank you. Awesome. Yes, Nikki's saying, I tried to log in with the QR code on my phone and it didn't work. Yes, so you need to use the scanning feature within the XiaoHongShu app. It's the same in WeChat. When you try and use WeChat on your computer, you have to use a scanning feature within the WeChat app Same thing on XiaoHongShu. You have to scan it within the XiaoHongShu scanning tool. If you can't find it, drop a message in the Facebook group and I will help with that. So you're just saying much to do. Yes, so much to do. Thank you. I'm glad this was helpful for everyone. Great. Okay, I think that brings us to the end then of the main content for this webinar today. We have, as always, run massively over time, so I apologize. Before we all disappear, I have one quick promotional thing from my end to share, because I think this might be helpful for you guys. So if you want to stick around and learn a bit more, feel free to learn more. So one of the things I feel like many of the teachers I work with struggle a lot with is actually implementing stuff. So these bootcamps, as you guys can see, I like to share as much content as I can. I like to be honest, and no gatekeeping here. I share everything that I know about XiaoHongShu and tools you can use and free resources, all that kind of stuff. I want to make that available to everyone. There's also lots of more advanced skills and things in the courses, which are all very reasonably priced. But I've really found that a lot of teachers, what they struggle with is not actually the main learning stuff. They struggle with actually implementing it. And hopefully things like the implementation workbook helps. But if you're wanting someone who's actually going to be there with you as your coach and your mentor and encouraging you along the way, and helping you implement those ideas, discussing exactly with you exactly what post topics you could work on, suggesting different post themes, brainstorming more ideas with you, that kind of thing, then please do feel free to check out my brand new XiaoHongShu coaching program. I'm really excited to launch this and I hope you guys find it helpful. So yeah, I think this is hopefully solving a lot of the problems that some teachers are facing in actually implementing things from the bootcamp and from the course, and even more advanced strategies that go beyond this sort of intro level stuff. So yeah, we'd work together step by step to grow your XiaoHongShu account through 5 one-on-one coaching sessions. These are through Zoom, we'd have each one's an hour long, and opportunity for you to get direct feedback and support with your marketing. At the end of each session, I'll send you detailed summary notes, feedback and action points and things to actually do. We'll have a private WhatsApp group where you can message me directly with questions that come up, any issues along the way. And yeah, it's me being there as your personal cheerleader and your mentor and your support to help you with your marketing. I'm going to pop the link as well in the chat before I share a bit more information about you. If anyone would be interested in signing up for this, I've just popped the link in the chat here. And this is brand new. I'm just launching this, and it's the first time I've mentioned it to anyone. So if you want to jump on it now while the doors are open, please do check out that link I've just popped in the live stream chat to sign up for the XiaoHongShu coaching program. And I'm very willing to customize this a lot around you and what you need. That's the whole point of it. It's a one-on-one customized program. And if you sign up during the bootcamp, you also get for free a whole bunch of extra bonuses. The first one is the XiaoHongShu Advanced Marketing course. This goes way beyond the stuff we got in the bootcamp, with even more advanced XiaoHongShu skills and extra features, how to use things like advanced analytic data to grow your account in a more scientific kind of way, conversion strategies to get people actually queuing up for your classes and buying, loads of tutorial videos, step-by-step guides. I feel like in these live streams I talk a lot, but in the course there's a lot of videos where I'm screen sharing bits from the phone, and I've recorded detailed tutorials on everything you need. So if you're interested in that, a bonus you get included for free with the XiaoHongShu coaching program. Now I know some people here aren't ready to invest in the full coaching program, in which case no worries, I get you, don't worry. You can also check out this course individually, and you can buy this course individually on its own if you prefer. So I've just popped the link for that as well in the chat if you're interested. So that's the first bonus. The second bonus you get if you sign up for the XiaoHongShu coaching program is 3 custom-made Canva post templates designed specifically around you and your business, customized for your brand and posting strategy. It will allow you to save so much time and stress. We talked a lot here today about decision paralysis and the time it takes to do things. Design decision paralysis. I'm not sure that's a phrase, but the time it takes to plan and design beautiful posts is a lot. So this will help save you time and stress by giving you pre-made post templates that are just ready to go. And they're all going to be designed compatible with free Canva accounts. If you don't have a paid Canva account, you can just use the free version. And if you do have a paid account, then I'll make them paid account compatible. But if you don't, then they won't require you to have a paid account either. And the final bonus you'll get is a profile review and translation from a native Chinese speaker with lots of detailed feedback and support to help you optimize your profile, links into what we talked about in the last session, and make sure that you're properly set up for success. So yes, those 3 great bonuses you'll get if you sign up for the XiaoHongShu coaching program. Now, the deadline to sign up is the 28th of May. That's this Sunday, because I'm opening doors just to try this out brand new program to see how things go with a very limited number of spaces. So I want to kind of close the doors quickly, so everyone, if you're keen, jump in now. The link is, as I said, in the chat. I put a very, sorry, I'm half covering the price here, very special discounted price just to get started of $699 US. Now, I know this is a lot for some people. If it's too much, don't worry, I understand. You can check out that course instead. But if you're interested in purchasing this coaching program, you get those 5 one-on-one sessions and the 3 bonuses: the XiaoHongShu marketing course, the custom Canva post templates, and the profile review and translation, all within this coaching package. So they're definitely not going to be offering it that price again in the future. It's about half price of the final price that it's going to be priced at in the future. So if you want to get this massive launch discount, do check out the link in the description. And yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes. So if you're excited to grow your account with me, please do check that out. Okay, lots of sales pitch from me, but as we know, we're learning here marketing strategies and how to sell. So do, even with these free bootcamps, want to just share these opportunities for you to learn more and take your marketing even further. Okay, so that was my little promotional thing at the end there, and I hope you guys are interested and want to support me in this new endeavor. I hope you find it helpful as well. So yes, I'm going to go back to the tasks page for your tasks for today, because where was it? A few slides back. Passed a lot of wonderful promotional stuff about this awesome new XiaoHongShu coaching program. Here was your task. So if you want to check out details on your task for today, it's on the screen again here for you to refer to. So any questions anyone's got, whether that's about the coaching program or about all the stuff we did in today's webinar? Last chance to ask any questions before we wrap things up. Okay, so you're just saying, I'm in XiaoHongShu using my computer browser. Fantastic. I'm glad you managed to get in. Awesome. The computer, I find the computer one's a bit limited in some of the features, and I find it a bit hard to navigate personally, but it is easy to use, particularly if you don't speak Chinese, because you can use the browser's built-in translation tools to translate everything for you. So yeah, I'd highly recommend checking out XiaoHongShu on the computer browser if you can. It saves a lot of stress. So yes, thank you. You're welcome. I'm glad this helped. Excellent. Okay, Nikki's saying all very helpful. That's great to know. Thank you, Nikki. It is tempting curiosity here. My question is ... Go for it. Feel free to ask any questions you've got. I'm happy to help. That's what these live streams are all about: opportunity to ask questions and get feedback live. Have you found students outside of China or the Asian market? Okay, so for me personally, I had a few students who are not within mainland China, but are like what I generally refer to as overseas Chinese, like Chinese expats in nearby Asian countries, particularly, okay, Hong Kong on XiaoHongShu we should refer to as Chinese. But anyway, other Chinese regions outside of mainland China, such as Hong Kong. And I currently live in Japan, and I've had a few students on XiaoHongShu who are in Japan, but they're like Chinese families who are currently living in Japan. So I would say that XiaoHongShu is very, very popular in mainland China. And it's also very, very popular with Chinese expat families. We talked about that in session 1 of the bootcamp, some of the target markets you can reach. And there are a lot of Chinese expats on XiaoHongShu, and they post like content about their overseas adventures and like work abroad or bringing up kids overseas, that kind of thing. It's very popular, actually. Whole sections of XiaoHongShu dedicated to that kind of content. And those people are then potential customers for you if you want to teach Chinese families, but like in other time zones, which is great if you want to be able to offer classes at other times of day, but who are still willing to pay Chinese prices for classes. Because let's be honest, a lot of other markets don't have the same spending power as the Chinese market. So if you're looking at overseas Chinese, they tend to have quite good jobs. That's why they've been able to work abroad. And they're willing to spend Chinese prices on classes because they're looking for that style of class that we're offering. Yes, so there are students outside of mainland China. Long answer short, sorry. There are students outside of mainland China, but they're mostly still browsing in Chinese because they're like overseas Chinese families. Okay, Nick is commenting saying category ideas. Sorry, can you remind us what you mean? Oh, I mean like, let me go back. Category ideas. So when we looked at this slide, we looked at your posting schedule. We came up with like broad categories like phonics video, They didn't say which specific phonics video. It's going to be a video about like one specific phoneme or something like that. And then in the next page, we then pick these same categories. In this case, it was a science one, so it would be like phonics video would be the title on the top. Yeah, the first row where it says post theme or category. And then later on, you're going to come up with like a whole bunch of post ideas that fit within that category. So in the case of the phonics one, in this top row would have phonics video. Sorry, hiccups. In this top row, you'd have phonics video. And the bottom row, you might have, okay, one week we're going to be focusing on TH. Next week, we're going to focus on CH. Next week, we're going to focus on SH. Excuse me. Next week after that, we're going to focus on, like, I know, SK blend, like blending together the S and the K sounds. Whatever. Someone who knows phonics who can talk more about this than I could. So those would be specific posts that fit within the broad category of phonics video on a specific phoneme. Not sure if that helps. Hopefully that helps. Okay, Nikki's saying, okay, yes, got it. Glad that helped. Fantastic. Thanks. Okay, Nicole's saying, you mentioned diagrams as a theme. What are other theme examples? Okay, lots of possible examples here. If we go back to when we looked at, say, value posts way back. Oh, now my sniffy nose, this is going great. I think my hay fever tablets are wearing off. Anyone else got allergies? This is the worst time of year, I swear. I had literally last month before, I had like really bad hay fever and it stopped. I'm like, great, hay fever season is over. No more allergies for the rest of the year. I'd run out of allergy tablets and then a few weeks ago, it started up again. Some other flower is now pollinating and trying to kill me off. So yeah, sorry for the sniffly nose and probably slightly inflamed looking face that I've got at the moment. It's allergy season. Okay, so when we look to like value posts, like these kind of topic ideas. So for example, one of these is top study tips. That would be like a broad theme. And then each week you'd post one specific tip. Or we've got here recommended apps or games as an example of a value post sort of theme. And then maybe one week you're talking about 3 recommended games for practicing English vocabulary. Then the next week is going to be 3 recommended games for reviewing English grammar or something like that. And you can do various topics. Similarly with favorite English books, book recommendations or book review. Each week you'd post a different book. So that's what I mean by theme or category. It depends a lot on your niche. Like pick things related to your niche. But that's what these value posts and inspiration post topics are all about. That helps. Like you're saying, categories, value posts, inspiration posts. Oh, I mean like, so that's what I call like the goal of the post. But then this list here, so if you look on the screen, the top bit says value post. And this section here underneath it with all the examples, these examples are the category or the theme. Maybe I should have been more clear by terminology. Sorry. Okay, Nicole's also asking, and videos, are they created by us or can we share video clips from YouTube or similar platforms? Okay, XiaoHongShu is actually very strict on copyright. I know there's a bit of a reputation within the Chinese market of like being more lax on copyright things, but they're cracking down on it a lot more because, yeah, the government doesn't like copyright stuff. So basically, don't post stuff that's not yours on XiaoHongShu or on other platforms. People do it. I've seen it, and they seem to be doing okay, but it is against the XiaoHongShu terms and conditions to post copyrighted content that you don't own. So I wouldn't recommend directly sharing video clips from YouTube or whatever, unless it's like a very small clip that you're going to then talk about, that you can have a video and that's going to be a small clip you talk about and then continue with the rest of your video. Like, for example, maybe you're talking about something in the news and you might include a small clip from a news story, and then you're going to talk more about that news story in your own video. It's when there's that overlap between what counts as transformative content. Like if you directly copy someone's content and share it, then that's like against the rules. Whereas if you're transforming that content and adapting it in your own way and using it for education purposes, then it comes under sort of fair use or something else. I'm not sure on the legal details of all of that. But yeah, long answer short, no, you can't just directly share video clips from YouTube. Try and make your own content. And remember, our content is meant to be about you and kind of building a relationship with you and establishing you as an expert. So if you're posting stuff that's like videos from YouTube that don't have you in it, it's not really selling you as a teacher. Nikki's saying, allergies constantly. Yes, all the time. I thought it was over and then it wasn't. I had to go buy more medicines, which was not great. Also means I'm now permanently tired because my hay fever tablets just knock me out. Not great. Not a great time of year. Okay. Harry's saying, am I correct in assuming that strategy could be used on different Instagram-like platforms around the world using the local language? Absolutely, yes. You'll find that a lot of these marketing strategies are not really platform specific. This bootcamp is all about XiaoHongShu, but in reality, the same strategies can easily be applied to Instagram, to Facebook, to Kakao if you're posting for like the Korean market, to which other ones are kind of niche. I don't read that much about other markets. My expertise is very much in the Chinese market, I'll be honest. But yeah, you can use this same broad strategy for most social media platforms. There will be some ways in which you'll be adapted. For example, there's different post formats in different platforms. The language you'll post in will be different depending on the target market. The way in which you categorize posts and focus on specific post content might vary because the way the algorithms work might be slightly different. But yeah, the general broad concepts are the same across all social media marketing, let's be honest. So yes, you can use this and elsewhere as well. Okay, Nisa's got it now. Excellent. I'm glad that helped. Thanks. Okay, Nigel's asking, how did you format the color bands in the value post in your profile? National Geographic one. National Geographic. I don't use National Geographic. I think you might be looking at someone else's profile, maybe. There's probably many teachers called Katie. Oh, you mean this post right on the screen here, the one that's websites reading science? I think I mentioned National Geographic as an example of a website. Oh, I did. There we go. Okay, you're right. It's right on the screen. Sorry. Colored bands. I didn't format the colored bands. Really, it came like that's the logo. Actually, oh wait, no, sorry. I'm half asleep. No, so I made this in Canva. This is a Canva, and actually, if you get the XiaoHongShu marketing course, which is in the description, this template is also available. I made this template within Canva, and you can actually get it to reuse the same thing with your own marketing if you want. But yeah, it's just a Canva graphic, and I literally just put colored bands. They're just like squares on Canva, and I just made them lopsided a bit, and they overlapped to make that design. Yeah, I made it in Canva. There's also similar templates. If you're not very good at design, don't worry, it's fine. I'm also not amazing. I've been learning as I go along, and there's loads of great pre-made templates as well. This one I made myself, but if you want to make your own template, if you want to use an existing template, there are so many available within Canva. So yeah, this was just formatted in Canva. That helped. I'm just saying, yes, that's it. Okay, I got you eventually. Sorry, it's now 11:30 in the evening here, so I'm starting to lose it. So yeah, great. Okay, any other questions? I think I've answered most of them, but I might have missed a few because sometimes the chat gets a bit carried away with lots of things all in one go. But if you think I missed, please do let me know. It's a great resource. Yeah, I love Canva. Canva's amazing. I use it for worksheets. I use it for social media posts. I use it for all kinds of things. People even make like slides and stuff. I haven't used it for making slides because I use Genie for that. But you can use Canva for all kinds of things. Same with videos. I don't make videos in Canva because I don't like their video editing, but other teachers do. So you can even edit videos within Canva as well. So yeah, great resource. I highly recommend Canva. You're not using Canva yet, Nigel? You are missing out. It's amazing. It's also free to sign up. So like they have a pro version, but you can also do so much just with a free account. So definitely check out Canva. I'll write in the chat. Canva. Let's see. Canva. If you just Google Canva, it pops up. I think I have a referral code for it somewhere. So if you want to message in the Facebook group, I might be able to send you a referral code. I can't quite remember what discount it gives you. But they have a free trial anyway with Canva. So there's a entirely free version. And I believe they certainly, when I first signed up, they gave me like 30 days free of the pro version as well, which you can try out. So yes, check out Canva. Highly recommend it. Nikki, I've signed up for Canva. We're not using it yet. So much to do. Definitely check it out. I love it. It's great. Awesome. Okay, any other questions or anything I can help with today's session? We covered most things. In which case, I might wrap things up here. So thank you so much, everyone, and really appreciate all your great engagement throughout the bootcamp so far. It's been great to have so many great questions. I know I tend to ramble, but it's nice to chat to people and to get feedback and get questions and go through answers and things together. So yeah, I hope you found this helpful so far. We've got another 2 bootcamp sessions to go this week, so tomorrow and on Friday, so get excited for those. Tomorrow, the topic is how to post. So we're going to work through making a post together, like live. We're going to use the computer app, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make a post, how to structure the bits of the post, how to put everything together and how to actually post it. That's the plan for tomorrow. And then on Friday, we're going to learn a lot more about the algorithm and how the algorithm works behind the scenes and how you can actually use the algorithm to your advantage to reach the right kind of people. So lots of great content to come in the next couple of days. So I hope you find this helpful. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that. By the way, if you want to check out the XiaoHongShu marketing course, the link is in the description. And also, if you want to sign up for the coaching program, really appreciate your support and trying that out if you would like to join me. So do feel free to check that information out if you're interested. But yeah, loads of great free content to come the rest of the bootcamp. Don't forget to do your homework and share it in the Facebook group. And I will see you again at the same time tomorrow. So whatever time it was when we started today, same time tomorrow. And yeah, have a great rest of your day or rest of your evening if you're in Asia like me. And I'll see you